at the National Mall. Today I am going to tell you about the construction, events, and myths of the Lincoln Memorial. First, I'm going to talk about the construction. It was built between 1914 and 1922. Most of the architecture was completed by April 1917, but then it began to slow with the start of World War I. Many people were involved in creating different parts of the memorial. Pierre L'Enfant was the master designer. Henry Bacon was the architect, and he designed it in a neoclassical style, and he made it look like a Greek temple. And he used a variety of stones from Massachusetts, Colorado, Tennessee, Indiana, Alabama, and Georgia. And the stones from the different states symbolize the importance of the Union to Lincoln. Daniel Chester Fringe was the leading sculptor of the statue of Lincoln. It was only supposed to be 12 feet tall, but it ended up being 19 feet tall. And Lincoln's left hand is clenched, depicting his determination to end the war between the North and the South. And his right hand is open, showing the peace that's going to come between the North and the South. Jules Guerin was hired to decorate the Lincoln Memorial with 2 murals, and they are both 60 feet long and 12 feet high. They are called Emancipation, which represents freedom and liberty, and Unity, which represents the North and the South coming together. Royal Courtisos drafted the inscription that appears on the wall above the statue of Lincoln. And the architectural elements are used in proportion to inspire, impress, and show that Lincoln was simple, but was elevated elegantly to show all of his achievements. Some very famous events have taken place at the Lincoln Memorial. It was dedicated to Lincoln on May 30th, 1922. There were about 50,000 people present. On August 28th, 1963, Martin Luther gave his I Have a Dream speech. It was an important part of the memorial, so in 2003, the place where Luther stood was engraved for the 40th anniversary of his speech. Another event that wasn't really famous was a concert on Easter Sunday in 1939. Marian Anderson sang at the memorial after being denied the chance to perform at Constitution Hall because of her race. She performed for a crowd of 75,000 people. There are many myths about the Lincoln Memorial. One myth is that Lincoln's hands are making an A and an L in sign language. Although it looks like this, there isn't any actual evidence indicating that Daniel Chester meant for this to be happening, and also what I said earlier about what his hands are showing. Another myth is that there is a face carved in the back of Abraham Lincoln's head, and nobody can agree on whose face it is, or where the face is on the statue, but the most plausible explanation is that it's the face of Robert E. Lee looking towards where he used to live at Arlington House. But the actual truth is that it's just the viewer's interpretation of Lincoln's hair, and there isn't actually a face on his head. A third myth is that a word is misspelled, and this myth is pretty much true. You can find this word on the north wall of the memorial. The engraver accidentally carved an E instead of an F, so then he went back and tried to fix it, but you can still see a little bit of where it was. Another myth is that Lincoln is buried under the Lincoln Memorial, and this myth is obviously false. He was buried in Springfield, Illinois. And a final myth is that the number of steps is significant. This myth is not true. There are 57 steps, but Lincoln was only 56 when he died. So today I have told you about the construction, events, and myths of the Lincoln Memorial. I now challenge you to try and find the word that is misspelled, and it should be pretty easy to find because I looked at pictures of it and it was pretty obvious to see. And try and see if you see a face in the back of Lincoln's head. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit more about the Lincoln Memorial. Now you have some background information that will help you to make your visit more enjoyable, and you will know a little bit more about the memorial before you go and see